Oh. I try to, I'm stopped at the steps and trying to get that thing out of your way there, but I don't think it's going to be able to get out of your way. You're just going to have to deal with that. All right, so hi everybody. I can't read chat because I'm driving, but I went to the doctor, and it was because I had to go there before they would schedule the colonoscopy. It's been 3 years since the last time, so we got that scheduled. That's going to be in October, and what else? Then the headache I had, it went away. Now I'm just going to say like a little bit of a headache, but I know it's like a total stress headache. Total stress headache, and just going crazy with everything. So let's see. I've got to get home now. Ethan was sick and stayed home from school. And let's see. He doesn't have COVID. Tested him. He just has like a cold. So he feels okay, better. And wants me to, I just had to stop and get him something. We're gonna have Jimmy's birthday cake, because I made the birthday cake yesterday, decorated it and everything, and the kids got home from being at their friends Friday and Saturday, and they were wiped out. Well, Ethan wasn't feeling good, but they had just finished going fishing and were totally wiped out. So they took showers and they were like in bed, and so we're not gonna have cake by ourselves. So we put it in one of those airtight containers and said we'll have it tonight. And then I had to go to the doctor, which, you know, I think I go this way. Okay. I just did all this roundabout stuff. Anyway, so did that. I had a late afternoon doctor appointment. Oh. And I just feel like, oh, it's crazy. I feel like I have been gone for like 4.5 hours. I don't know. It's just such craziness with all this road work. It's ridiculous. It's just those New York tax dollars. Welcome to New York. Look at that moon. Can you see that moon? I don't know if you can. It's a huge, like, crescent moon, but it's huge. Gorgeous. Okay, now you can go this way. Is there any manhunt we can go on? Let's say we're on a manhunt. Linda said there were a bunch of people escaped from juvenile detention center and they were headed towards Philadelphia. I don't know what happened with that. I actually fell asleep with that last night with Linda talking about that. Anyway, my announcement is about the not the first grief panel, because we've done grief panels before. The first grief panel for 2023, let's say that. But we're going to be doing more panels, and I'm going to be doing more videos. They're probably going to be pre-recorded videos, about grief in the social media age. And it's going to be the good and the bad. Of course, there's a lot of good. If you research it at all, there's a lot of good, because a lot of people prior to social media that were grieving a loss felt alone. Especially, I ran into a woman who lost her son. Oh my goodness, I think she lost him 10 years ago. And she told me, growing up, everyone, I never knew anybody personally that lost a child. She's like, and you feel like alone. Look at that car. So yeah, having social media and groups that are created just for the loss of a son, the loss of a daughter, the loss of a child, loss of husband, wife, very important. They're like great, because otherwise, yeah, you could feel very alone, because maybe in your circle of friends that you have in your town, and maybe even, throughout. So we're able to keep in touch so much better with our friends that we've had throughout our school years, college, through social media. Without social media, it would be you just have to pick up the phone, but we can keep in contact so much better anyway. So we're going to talk about that, but we're also going to talk about the ugly, and there is ugly. And the ugliness, it's so ugly. And these people really should check themselves out, because something's really, really, really off with them. And the first thing that they probably need to learn is you don't have to be accountable to anyone for your grief. The way you grieve, no. And these people that come and they try to tell somebody how to grieve, or I love the ones that say, my best friend lost all 6 of her children at one time in a fire. They're gone, and she's fine. She's so happy. What's wrong with you? And yes, they say things like that, okay? And number one, if the story is even true, okay, well, my heart goes out to that mother. But second, this person is not the close friend that they think they are. Because if they think their friend is so totally happy and everything else, then they don't know the first thing about that friend. So, but yeah, there's comments like that all the time. And how happy their friends are who've lost their children. They're so happy. What's wrong with you? Well, no one knows what goes on. It's like that comedian said, when I come out here, I'm not going to come out here and unload on you. You're here, you want me to make you laugh. And I'll do my best to make you laugh when my heart is breaking. But people don't understand that, and it's something to them, and we'll talk about it, but when people lose a child, it's probably the scariest kind of loss to any parent. And people try to justify it. Okay, and that's where a lot of that comes from. Like, why that can't happen to them. That can't happen to me because A, B, C. That can't happen to me because I only have one child and that wouldn't be right. That can't happen to me because I'm the best parent around, and I would always watch my kids when they're swimming, and I would always watch my kid, whatever it is. They have to justify why it cannot happen to them. And there is no justification for that. There isn't. Somehow that makes people feel better, and you'll hear it. I just heard someone say that very recently. But I know someone said something once to someone and said, thank goodness you have, the person had 3 children. Thank goodness you have 2 other children. If that happened to me, I wouldn't have any children. So what they were saying is, like, the person that was told this kind of felt like, oh, so because I had 3 kids, God picked me, to have that happen. So, I mean, there is no justification. It can happen to anyone at any time. No one knows. No one knows. And there is no, we all probably know people who have lost their only child. I have a good friend who lost her only child. So having just an only child doesn't shield you. Having 10 children doesn't shield you, because you think you lose one, you say, oh, it's okay because I have 9 more. Every person is an individual. Every person is an individual, and it's just some of the stuff that's said. But on YouTube, the people that say half of this stuff lie. They totally lie. And you just have to take it from where it comes. Take it from where it comes. Get rid of it. Don't fill your head with it, and don't listen to these morons, because they are morons. And I heard, somebody was, I only know the person through one chat. She lost her son. Okay, she lost her son. And there was, from what I gather, people said she lied, that she said he was in a motocross event, but that he was hit by his friend who was driving a truck while he was on his motorcycle. Okay, he was killed. He was killed, and there are people arguing on YouTube that she embellished his death to somehow benefit from it. Can you even imagine? Can you even imagine that argument? Shut the F up. Really, people. Shut the F up. I'm serious. It's not that she lied that her child died. It's not that he wasn't gone from her life. They're arguing whether she said he died doing a motocross event, or if he was on his motorcycle and was hit by a friend who was driving the truck next to him. Can you even imagine? So this woman had to sit there and had to bring up her son's obituary, had to go through all of this stuff because people on YouTube wouldn't leave her alone. Insanity? You betcha. What in the freak? Who raised these people? Who would do that to someone that lost a child? And then the next thing is, now her son was 21 or 24, if I remember correctly, again. And do you know the next thing they did was say something like, don't tell me about your loss because he didn't even live with you. What? Whether at 21 or 24 or 16 or 13 that he didn't live with her, okay? It's still her son. Sometimes, I don't know the woman's situation. I don't know the woman's situation. I don't know if she's married to the child's father. I don't know if they're divorced. But what my point is that sometimes when couples are divorced and boys are 16, 17, and there's not a good father figure in the home, they sometimes go to live with their dad. And it doesn't mean that anything is wrong with their mother, okay? It's just that right now they need a male influence that's there and their mother is still their mother. They would never say that to a father that was divorced. They would never say, oh, well, you know, your son lives with your wife and you only see him on weekends, so you really can't grieve that loss of your son. Sorry. And it's like, you've got to be kidding me. I honestly, I do not understand these people. So then after they got to off of the how her son died, okay? Because did you say he was actually doing a stunt on his motocross, but you didn't tell us he was on the bike and was hit by and I still don't know the way, because it's not important to me, because what's important to me is she lost her son. Okay? I mean, they want to argue back and forth. Which way? One way is better than the other for them. I mean, this is people. This is what we're talking about on YouTube. And we're talking about 40, 50, 60, 70-year-old women getting involved in this crap. Trying to tell somebody or attack them, you know, and then came the things that, well, she was just looking to grift with that. You hear that all the time. But these are the people, the very people that grift 24/7 for everything in their life. And as I've said it before, it is like these people, and it is impossible for a normal person to imagine this, but it's as if they are envious. They don't have a loss that great to what they call grift with, because this is what they do. They grift, okay? They grift their whole lives away. And that's what they assume everyone does. So it's just, that's the really bad part of grief on social media. But I still think the good outweighs the bad, because it does bring people together with that know the pain of losing a child, that know the pain of losing a husband, a wife, whatever the loss is. You can find a little bit of a commonality. And there is someone that I'm collaborating with who's lost a child. And we've talked about it before. And so I'm going to make that happen. And that's my announcement. My announcement is my first grief panel here on this channel. I think it's going to be, I want to say tomorrow night, but I might say Thursday night. Thursday night would give me a little more time to get thumbnail. Okay, so my signal is I'm gonna lose it, but I think it's gonna be Thursday night. It'll probably be, but it could also be Wednesday night before the auction. I know, and get my head